The flashing blue and red lights painted the dark road like a warning. Officer Daniel Harris stepped out of his patrol car, one hand resting near his radio, the other holding a small flashlight. The night was quiet, too quiet. The car he had pulled over sat still, its engine humming softly. "Sir, please step out of the vehicle," Daniel called, trying to keep his voice calm. The driver didn't move. Then suddenly the car door flew open. A man jumped out, his eyes wide, his hands shaking, and there was something dark on his shirt. Blood. Before Daniel could react, the man shouted, "You don't understand, they're coming!" A loud crash echoed from the woods nearby. Daniel turned his head sharply toward the sound. And something moved in the darkness. Something fast. Something not alone. Daniel reached for his radio, his heart pounding hard in his chest. "Dispatch, I need backup now." The line cut to static. And the man began to scream. What was out there? And why did it feel like this was no normal traffic stop? Just 30 minutes earlier, everything had been calm. Officer Daniel Harris had been driving along a quiet highway outside a small town in Ohio. It was one of those slow nights where nothing much happened. The road stretched long and empty, with trees lining both sides like tall shadows. Daniel liked nights like this. They gave him time to think. He had just taken a sip of his now cold coffee when he saw a black sedan swerving slightly in the distance. "All right," he muttered, sitting up straighter. "Let's check this out." He flipped on his lights, and the bright flashes lit up the road. The sedan slowed down and pulled over to the side. At first, everything seemed normal. Daniel stepped out of his car, adjusting his belt. The air felt cool, but there was something else too, a strange feeling he couldn't explain. Like the night was holding its breath. He walked up slowly to the driver's side window. The glass was tinted, making it hard to see inside. He tapped lightly. Nothing. He tapped again, a bit harder. Finally, the window rolled down halfway. A man sat inside. Mid-30s. Pale. Sweating. "Evening, sir," Daniel said. "You know why I pulled you over?" The man didn't answer right away. His eyes darted around, like he was looking for something or someone. "Sir," Daniel repeated. I didn't do anything," the man stammered. Daniel frowned slightly. "I just need your license and registration." The man hesitated, then reached slowly toward the glove box. As he opened it, Daniel caught a glimpse of something inside. A piece of cloth. Dark. Wet. Daniel's stomach tightened. "Sir, step out of the vehicle," he said, his tone now firmer. The man froze. For a moment, everything went still. Then the man whispered, almost to himself, "They said not to stop." Daniel leaned in slightly. "Who said that?" The man's head snapped up. And that's when everything changed. The car door burst open. The man stumbled out, panic written all over his face. And behind them, deep in the woods, something cracked. A branch. Heavy footsteps. More than one. Daniel slowly turned his head toward the trees again, his grip tightening. The man grabbed Daniel's arm suddenly. "You have to listen to me, they're not human." A loud, terrifying roar cut through the night. Daniel's eyes widened. And from the darkness, shapes began to emerge. Fast. Closing in. And way too many to count. The shapes rushed forward, crashing through the trees like a storm. Officer Daniel Harris stepped back, his heart slamming in his chest. His hand moved quickly to his flashlight, shining it toward the woods. The beam shook as he tried to steady it. "What is that?" he whispered. The man beside him was breathing hard, almost choking on his words. I told you they were coming." The light caught movement. One figure darted behind a tree. Another crouched low near the ground. They were fast. Too fast. "Get behind me," Daniel said, his voice stronger now, trained. He reached for his radio again. "Dispatch, I need." Static. Still nothing. The roar came again, louder this time, echoing through the night like something angry and wild. Leaves shook. Branches snapped. Daniel took a step back toward his patrol car. "We're getting in the car." "No." The man didn't argue. He stumbled quickly toward the passenger side, nearly tripping. But just as Daniel reached for the driver's door, one of the shapes burst out of the trees. It moved on all fours at first, then rose up suddenly, like it was trying to stand. Daniel froze. It looked human, but not quite. Its arms were too long. Its movements were wrong, jerky, unnatural. Its face was hidden in shadow, but its eyes, they reflected the light. Bright, empty, hungry. "Stay back," Daniel shouted, pulling out his weapon. His hands were steady, but inside, fear was creeping in. The thing tilted its head. Then it let out a low, clicking sound. And behind it, more shapes appeared. At least 5, maybe more. Daniel fired a warning shot into the ground. The loud crack echoed across the trees. For a second, everything stopped. The creatures froze. Even the wind seemed to pause. Then all at once, they scattered, vanishing back into the woods like shadows melting into darkness. Silence. Heavy. Unnatural. Daniel stood there, breathing hard, his ears ringing from the gunshot. What are those things?" he asked quietly. The man shook his head fast. "I don't know what to call them. I just know they don't stop." Daniel turned slowly, scanning the trees. Nothing moved now. But it didn't feel over. Not even close. "Get in the car," Daniel said again, more urgently this time. They both climbed inside quickly. Daniel slammed the door and locked it. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The only sound was their breathing. Then Daniel started the engine. The car roared to life. "All right," he said, gripping the wheel tightly. "Start talking. Who are you? What's going on?" "My name is Eric," the man said, still shaking. I think they've been following me for miles." "Following you?" Daniel glanced at him. "Why?" Eric swallowed hard. "Because of what I found." Daniel frowned. "What did you find?" Eric looked down at his hands. "They were in the road," he said softly. "At first, I thought it was just an animal. But when I stopped..." His voice cracked. "It wasn't dead." Daniel felt a chill run down his spine. "What do you mean?" Eric looked up, his eyes wide with fear. It opened its eyes, and it smiled. A sudden loud thump hit the back of the patrol car. Both of them jumped. Daniel whipped his head around. Another thump. Something was on the trunk. Scraping. Slow. Deliberate. Eric's voice dropped to a whisper. "They found us again." The car shook violently. And then, the rear window began to crack. The crack spread across the rear window like lightning. Daniel didn't think he just acted. He slammed his foot on the gas. The patrol car shot forward, tires screeching against the pavement. The thing on the trunk let out a sharp, angry screech as it struggled to hold on. "Hold on!" Daniel shouted. Eric grabbed onto the dashboard, his eyes squeezed shut. The car sped down the empty road, engine roaring. The trees blurred past them on both sides, dark and endless. Another loud bang hit the back of the car. The glass splintered more. Then, a hand pushed through. Long fingers. Pale skin. Bending the wrong way. Eric screamed. "It's getting in!" Daniel swerved sharply, trying to shake it off. The car veered left, then right. The creature slammed against the back window again, its fingers clawing through the cracks. Come on, Daniel muttered, gripping the wheel tighter. Up ahead, the road curved sharply. Daniel had no choice. He turned the wheel hard. The car drifted around the bend, tires screaming. The creature lost its grip. With a loud thud, it slid off the trunk and disappeared onto the road behind them. For a moment, silence. Just the sound of the engine and their heavy breathing. Eric slowly opened his eyes. Is it gone? Daniel checked the rearview mirror. Nothing. Only the empty road. I think so, he said, but his voice wasn't sure. He slowed the car slightly, trying to steady his hands. That thing, Daniel said, shaking his head. That wasn't normal. That wasn't anything I've ever seen. Eric stared straight ahead. There were more back there. I know. They travel in groups. Daniel glanced at him. "You seem to know a lot about them." Eric didn't answer right away. Instead, he reached into his pocket and pulled out something small. A phone. The screen was cracked, but still on. "Look," Eric said, holding it out. Daniel hesitated for a second, then took it with one hand, keeping his eyes mostly on the road. It was a video. Dark. Shaky. Filmed from inside a car. "Play it," Eric whispered. Daniel tapped the screen. The video started. At first, it showed an empty road, just like the one they were on now. Then the camera shifted. A shape lay in the middle of the road. Not moving. "I told you," Eric said quietly. In the video, Eric's voice could be heard, nervous and unsure. "Hello. Are you okay?" The camera moved closer. The shape looked like a person. Lying still. Then it moved. Its arm bent in a strange way. Too fast. Too wrong. Daniel felt his grip tighten on the phone. In the video, the figure slowly lifted its head. Its face came into view. Pale. Smiling. But the smile stretched too wide. "Run," Eric's voice said in the video. But it was too late. More shapes appeared from the sides of the road. Just like before. Fast. Surrounding the car. The video cut off suddenly. Daniel handed the phone back, his face serious. "How did you get away?" "I didn't," Eric said softly. Daniel frowned. "What do you mean?" Eric looked at him, his eyes filled with fear. "They let me go." Daniel's heart skipped. Why would they do that? Eric swallowed hard. "I think," he said slowly, "they wanted me to bring someone else." Before Daniel could respond, his headlights flickered. Once. Twice. Then went out completely. Darkness swallowed the road. "Come on, not now." Daniel hit the dashboard lightly. The engine was still running, but they couldn't see anything. Only the faint outline of trees under the moonlight. "Daniel," Eric whispered. Daniel's chest tightened. "What?" Eric pointed ahead, his hand shaking. "There's something in the road." Daniel squinted into the darkness. At first, he saw nothing. Then, a shape. Standing still. Right in front of the car. And as the moonlight shifted, it began to smile. The car was still moving. Fast. Too fast. "Daniel, stop!" Eric shouted. But Daniel couldn't see clearly. The headlights were still dead, and the only light came from the pale moon above. The shape in the road didn't move. It just stood there, waiting. At the last second, Daniel slammed the brakes. The tires screamed. The car skidded forward, and stopped just inches away from the figure. For a moment, everything was silent. Then the thing tilted its head. Slow. Unnatural. Daniel's breath caught in his throat. Up close, it looked even worse. Its skin was pale and stretched tight, like it didn't quite fit. Its eyes reflected the moonlight, glowing faintly. And that smile. It was too wide. Too still. "Don't move," Daniel whispered. But Eric was already shaking. "It's one of them." The creature took a step closer to the car. Its movement was jerky, like it was learning how to walk. Then it raised one hand and tapped on the hood. Tap, tap, tap. Each sound echoed in the quiet night. Daniel's mind raced. His training told him to stay calm, to assess the situation. But nothing about this made sense. Then the radio suddenly crackled to life. "Officer Harris, do you copy?" Daniel grabbed it instantly. "Dispatch." "Yes, I copy." "I need backup right now. I have." The voice cut in, louder this time. "Stay in your vehicle." Daniel froze. Something about the voice felt wrong. Too flat. Too slow. "Dispatch," he said carefully. "Stay in your vehicle," the voice repeated. Eric's eyes widened. "That's not them. That's not your people." The creature outside turned its head slightly, as if listening. Then it spoke. "Stay in your vehicle." Its voice sounded just like the radio. Perfect. Cold. Daniel felt a chill run down his spine. "It's copying us." The thing smiled wider. Then suddenly, It slammed both hands onto the hood. Bang! Eric screamed. More shapes began to step out of the darkness behind it. 1, 2, 5, 10. Surrounding the car. All with the same twisted posture. All with the same horrible smiles. Daniel's heart pounded. Lock the doors. They're already locked. Eric shouted. The creatures moved closer, circling them slowly. One dragged its fingers along the side of the car, making a long screeching sound. Another crouched low near the passenger door, staring straight at Eric. Then, the engine sputtered. Daniel looked down. No, no, no. The car shook slightly. The dashboard lights flickered. And then, the engine died. Complete silence. The creatures stopped moving all at once. Like they were waiting. Watching. Daniel reached for his weapon again, but his hand hesitated. There were too many. Way too many. Eric grabbed his arm. What do we do? Daniel didn't answer. Because he didn't know. Then, one of the creatures stepped forward. The same one from the road. It walked slowly to the driver's side window. And leaned in close. Its face pressed against the glass. Its smile stretched even wider. And in a perfect copy of Daniel's own voice, it whispered, "Step out of the vehicle." The door lock clicked. By itself. The lock clicked. Daniel's heart dropped. Neither of them touched the door. "Did you?" Eric started. "No," Daniel said quickly. The handle moved. Slowly. Like someone invisible was pulling it. The door creaked open just a little. Cold air slipped inside. The creature outside didn't move away. Its face stayed pressed close, that same wide smile stretching across its pale skin. "Step out of the vehicle," it repeated in Daniel's voice. Eric grabbed Daniel's arm tightly. "Don't do it. That's what they want." Daniel swallowed hard. His mind raced. There were too many of them outside. If they stayed, the creatures would get in. If they stepped out, they didn't know what would happen. But one thing felt clear. These things were copying them. Their voices. Their words. Maybe their actions too. Daniel took a slow breath. Then he spoke, loud enough for the creatures to hear. "Stay back," he said firmly. The creatures didn't move. But a few of them twitched. Like they were listening. Learning. Daniel leaned closer to Eric and whispered, "I think they copy what we do, not just what we say." Eric's eyes widened. "So, what do we do?" Daniel's grip tightened on his weapon. "We confuse them." Before Eric could respond, Daniel suddenly shouted, "Run!" And at the same time, he didn't move. Outside, the creatures reacted instantly. Half of them darted backward into the trees. The others hesitated, frozen, unsure. Their heads turned in different directions, like they didn't know what to follow. "Now!" Daniel yelled. He shoved the door open hard, slamming it into the nearest creature. It stumbled back with a strange screech. Daniel jumped out, pulling Eric with him. "Stay close," he shouted. They ran. Not toward the trees, but along the side of the road. The creatures shrieked behind them, their footsteps crashing through the darkness again. "They're coming!" Eric yelled. "I know." Daniel spotted something ahead. A small roadside ditch. "Down," he said. They both jumped into it, landing hard on the cold ground. "Don't move," Daniel whispered. Footsteps rushed past them. Fast. Chaotic. The creatures were searching. Copying. Some ran into the woods. Others ran down the road. But none of them stopped at the ditch. After a few long, quiet seconds, the night grew still again. Daniel slowly lifted his head. Nothing. No movement. No glowing eyes. Just silence. Eric let out a shaky breath. Are they gone?" Daniel listened carefully. Then he nodded. "For now." They climbed out of the ditch slowly, both shaking. The patrol car sat behind them, doors open, engine dead. Empty. Eric looked at it, then back at Daniel. "We can't stay here." Daniel nodded. "We won't." In the distance, faint but real. Sirens. "Back up." This time, real. Daniel felt a small wave of relief wash over him. But it didn't last long, because as he turned back toward the road, he froze. Standing near the patrol car was another figure, still watching. It looked just like him. Same uniform, same face, same eyes. The copy smiled slowly. Then, in Daniel's exact voice, it called out toward the approaching sirens. "Over here! I found them!" Daniel's blood ran cold. Eric stepped back, his voice shaking. "Which one is you?" The sirens grew louder. Lights began to flash through the trees. And Daniel realized this nightmare wasn't over. It was just beginning.